the recording yet. Before we really get going, it's been about a week or so, well, 2 weeks since we've actually talked. We had a call and then we didn't have a call last week. So it's been about 2 weeks. I'm curious who's had some really good stuff happening, whether that's in the business, life, something. Anybody got anything they'd like to share to everybody?
I could share, Sean.
Let's hear it, Keith.
My wife and I got our first contract. So we cracked the ice. It's a very good situation because it's a very bad situation, but that makes it a situation. So long story short, there's this house on a canal. We live in Crystal River, Florida. Oh, I'm sorry, Citrus County, Florida. There's a lot of fresh water, a lot of rivers, a lot of springs, and also we're on the Gulf Coast. And this lady had her home listed. We kind of used an MLS domination system technique, just working with a realtor. And she had her home listed for like 38 days and crazy listing price. And, we're still new, so laying the foundation. But anyway, we did the Mayo formula and, kind of we're going to come in with an offer at 50,000. And then anyway, we went up. And then when we went in there for inspection, huge, crazy foundation issues. Come to find out, this lady bought the house. I mean, crazy cracks. And she bought the house like not even 2 years ago for 37, put a tenant in there. She's basically going to have to condemn the whole thing if she doesn't fix it or no one else is going to buy it. So for us, that's always what I'm reminding her of, is just we're looking for situations. And so she already had an investor fall through. We now have that as leverage. We put our earnest money deposit down. We've got our Florida. We're building our case. She's the talker. She's really great at sales and stuff, but that was a huge so right now we're under contract. If she goes down and accepts what she should, which would be 45 max for the property, then we'll go through. But hey man, it's so far so good, just grinding out. So
I love it. I love it. And you had another really cool share you sent.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm behind it. So I made myself a tracking sheet to hold myself accountable for making updates to the website, my Google business profile and social media. And I kind of scheduled it. And anyhow, I sent a few, my wife and I drove around town to a couple of our location pages and I snapped a couple of nice shots. Evening shots seem to be really good, man. The sun comes through. But anyway, the next day, I just looked up, how to sell my house fast in Inverness, Florida. And we went literally out of nowhere to the first ranked site. We literally, it blindsided everybody. So, it was just super exciting. So it was a huge win. And also, just in case anyone is thinking about it, Roger was talking about the people also ask stuff for blogs and stuff. And I made a huge list of those. But I'm constantly trying to figure out how to optimize it. That was cool, just the neat little Google tricks, man. The little just stuff that you guys know, And I was telling somebody, I was like, Google's client is their customer, and their customers are searching for local things. So anything local, Google's gonna, right? Isn't that what you guys were kind of sharing? Yep. So it was just neat, man. It was just the
Keith, just so I'm clear, you took photos and posted them on your Google My Business?
Correct.
No, ma'am. So yeah, so we have 6 locations like everybody else on your webpage, or you should, or if you have that well, mine does. But anyway, Inverness, Florida, Crystal River, Florida, Lecanto, Florida, they're all local to us. So we went to those locations and took pictures, then sent them into to support at Top Results Consulting to put on our web pages. And they geotagged because I took them while I was there, and that geotag, whatever Google's algorithm is, caused the picture to then cause the website to jump up in the search listings.
Yeah, so I just want to see where they were added to the website, Sean.
So here's the email. I love the subject. We hit the top. They tagged 2 pictures for 2 different locations. This was a task I gave Keith right when he first got the site live. I said, get out there, local level, take photos of your locations, get them in. We got them geotagged. And because of that, you can see on the map pack listing, there they are, right there at the top. And previous to that, Keith,
we were
even showing up.
No, we weren't even showing up.
So just by in his market, now you hear Roger and I talk about this all the time. Competition is different everywhere, right? But one thing that quickly moved the needle for Keith in his local market was just getting out and getting a couple pictures that were localized, geotagged, getting them to the site. And because of that, and doing a couple other things, I'm sure, right? With building this out, optimizing the GPP and all that stuff, all of a sudden Google said, hey, wait a minute, this company's they're checking more boxes, right?
Okay,
Than
but
everybody
so
else.
then those geotag photos were added to the website on the location pages or just in a
Yes,
general?
man.
On the
Yeah,
location page.
they were on the
Okay.
location. So I took a picture in Inverness, Florida of our courthouse, and then I put it on the Inverness, Florida webpage, my location page.
So it's basically, instead of us going out and grabbing pretty much a stock imagery, a lot of times when we're optimizing, we have no images from clients. We'll go out to stock imagery like platforms and grab, cityscapes, things like that. In this case, there was a very specific photo, right? And these are kind of pretty cool because they don't exist anywhere. This is actually something that's owned by you guys. So when we put those on there, geotag, it's something that's super unique. So it kind of hits to town. Now, it is a little kind of like specific to the how much of an effect that's going to have. Obviously, it's going to move the needle somewhat, but at the end of the day, it comes down to if there's not a whole lot of competition, for example, if there's not a whole lot, or you're kind of right there, you're going to dominate. And in most cases, if you're playing in a big metropolitan area, we'll have to do a little bit more work there. But if your other additional cities are in smaller areas, maybe lower competition when it comes to SEO, these little tweaks will put you right to the top. And this is just the beginning of a snowball effect to kind of not only get the Google business profile, but your city pages and your overall brand, right? Just kind of like stamped on your digital presence in that particular area. So, yeah.
So Keith, in Inverness, Florida, what is this building?
That's the town hall. Elvis actually did a movie there. So I live in a semi-rural area. Most people down here, because I'm from Michigan originally, the suburbs, would think in terms of counties, but we do have a few cities here and there. They're not big, it's not a city. It's more of a town, but that's town hall. So anybody that, if anybody sees that, they'll know exactly what it is. We just took that picture in the afternoon, as the sun was going down, just drove up in front of it and snapped a shot of it.
What was the other location you did?
Crystal River. So that's actually Hunter Springs. There's probably other shots. I mean, in where we live, we have a lot of springs and a lot of manatees because we have freshwater springs that run straight out into the Gulf. So this actually leads into Crystal River, which runs into the Gulf. But this is just a little public beach, and somehow I was able to get the sun between those two palm trees. But, if anybody sees it and they're familiar with Crystal River or they're not, it's a touristy thing. That was the other one. So I still have obviously a ton of work to do. I mean, replacing all those other stock images and getting, some 1 or 2 minute videos up, and there's a lot of work to do, but just grinding, just whatever,
I'm showing, see, you guys can probably see, I've clicked on 2 other cities. It's the same photo in the background, right? Just the feel of if somebody naturally landed on, like Inverness, for example, that you heard Keith say it, they know that building, right? The Crystal River one, they know that location of Crystal River area. Does it do a ton? Maybe not, but it helps from an emotional connection standpoint. It's easy to see that this business is local because they actually are leveraging things that are local that everybody knows, right? Again, is it to Roger's point, is it the one thing that's going to move the needle, for everybody? Probably not. But it just so happened that in Keith's case, it was a combination of that, optimizing his GBP the right way when he fired it up, getting some things together, having a couple pieces, the snowball starts to move. And what happened? Boom, got there, in the top of the Google Maps ranking for that particular location area, which is huge, right? It's huge. There's still a lot more to go behind that, right?
Ton.
But I forget where I was at, and I ended up hitting Roger up, and I was like, hey, did you see Keith's email? Because it was like, we hit the top.
Yeah.
Good job on taking action and doing that.
I'm
Yeah,
trying,
and
man.
I'll throw this in as well. It's like just the little tweaks. A lot of you guys are in big metropolitan areas. Then most of your cities are in smaller areas. And just kind of, I'm looking at this particular in Inverness. Is that how you said it?
Inverness.
Inverness, it's weird, yeah.
Inverness, because what we had seen, the big win was on the GBP, right? The Google Business Profile kind of jumped, and I just kind of checked again. It's been what, a week or so. You're now, that particular page is now ranking on page 1 of Google. So I did the kind of search right now. It's towards the bottom, but this is where you guys, when you see these type of results, whether it's page 1 or page 2, page 3, doesn't matter. As long as you start getting an index and the needle is moving, that's when you have to focus. That's when you have kind of your indication of what pages you need to focus on are the ones that are moving. So for Keith, for example, if I needed to give him some consultation right now, I would really focus on, you just saw that one move, right? So let's put a little bit more power, say whether it's a video, right? Add a little bit more. It didn't take a whole lot. It took some unique images. What if we added a video to that, right? Bam. Or hit it with a with a press release, for example, just to give it a little more power. That will make it jump all the way up to hopefully what I call the golden positions, right? Boom. Once you hit that, then you can leave that one alone. Focus on your next page, right? Let's look at other pages within the website that are kind of like moving right now. See where they're at and start kind of getting them up. Because to Sean's point, we start talking about the omnipresence being everywhere. Well, this is part of it. This is, you want an offline conversation to then go basically have an offline. What I mean by it, you talking to a potential client, right? That might have a house that they want to sell or whatnot. And then they go look for you online. You don't even know that, right? They just happen to say, hey, Keith, I'm going to think about it, right? You seem like a cool guy. I'm going to go think about it. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to go online and try to look up stuff. One, they're going to find you on the Google Business Profile, right? Because you did your job. Number two, they'll probably try to look for some other people that can potentially help them to see their options. What are they going to find everywhere they search? Probably your pages in different areas, regardless of what they're typing in. Because I know we optimize for the We Buy Houses in, right? Whatever the location is. But one of the things that has to do that maybe we don't talk about enough is proximity. So the reason I really push, or we really push to put the location in there, is because we want someone in Inverness to be sitting in that town, right? Ever city, town, whatever it is, type in cash buyer. That's it. Short cash buyer, home buyers, whatever they type in. Well, Google now knows that you are in that city because of how you optimize, and that page will pop, right?
Okay.
So kind of the whole vision.
I really appreciate that, because I was trying, I was thinking to spread it all out, and that's not a good military strategy. I was thinking of how can I do each location, but you're right. If Google recognized Inverness, focus on Inverness, get Inverness up, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else have anything fun over the last week and a half, 2 weeks they'd like to share? Going once.
We got a good house, a big reno that we did. Initially, we're going to put on the market for $625,900. And after redoing the comps, put it on the market for $670,000 and close, or get ready to close here in a week and a half for $731,000.
Bam.
As is, no contingencies, 2 lawyers, and if it's above anything to do with appraisal, it's their issue.
Sounds
So
like a sweet deal.
that was amazing. Did a JV deal with a couple contractors and had major termite damage.
Yep.
They replaced 46 floor joists and about 50 sheets of plywood. And they jacked up the house.
Sounds like time to reinvest and dominate with the Dominator package and create about 5 of those next year.
Well, we got 13 lots up in North Carolina and closing on 3 probably in February that we're building.
Love the momentum. Good job. Anybody else?
Yeah, we're still cranking them. Even in December, we posted not too long ago about a 20-unit apartment deal that we got in contract for $1.2 million, and that looks like it's going to go through. And since then, we've got 2 more landlords with 20 plus. So we got a guy. They're mostly single families, a couple duplexes and a triplex. He's selling. What's Jacob got him at? about 745 grand, and there's 26 of them. And then a realtor just messaged me about 30 minutes ago, and she's trying to sell 20 for one of her people, and she's got 3 of her own. So it's like we're getting these landlords just beating our doors down trying to sell them after we made that nice post on
I
the
love
20
it.
that we were buying. So we're not slowing down in December.
Love it. Andrea, are you around? I see you're on, but I don't see you on the screen. I know you've got a cool win I'd like you to share. See if she comes back. Anybody else in the meantime?
We just got our 7th executive rental up and running, first guest in there, and we're almost to the other 5 that will be up and running by the end of this month. So yes, just like Jordan, December is not slowing down for any of us.
I love it. I love it. Keep the momentum and roll with it. Good job. I didn't see Andrea come back, Dr. Andrea. I'll share for her. Some of you guys know Dr. Andrea and I are like really, really good friends. I joke and I actually say she's the sister I never really had. Growing up in a house full of boys, never really had a sister, and she's kind of become that for me. But I got a random text a couple weeks ago. If you've ever been to the Unleash Your Inner Line event, and if you're planning to come this time, or if you're on the fence, I highly encourage you to do it because Dr. Andrea always speaks at it, and she's told this story a billion times. If you actually know her story and her background and where she was at, what she went through, and I mean, literally at one point she thought she was going to be paralyzed, never be able to walk again in her life, and what she's been able to build back up, and just the way that she's gotten into this business of acupuncture, Chinese medicine, herbal medicine, and all this stuff, and seeing her path over the last couple of years. I got this random text a couple of weeks ago where she moved out of the location that she was currently in the Palisades. If you know anything about Los Angeles area, the Pacific Palisades is probably one of the most expensive areas to be in. So to have a business in that area and live in that area, it's pretty substantial, right? She actually had the opportunity to get her own location. Her business has actually taken off to enough of a substantial level that she got away from the kind of co-shared office location she was in. And I believe, I haven't had a chance to get down there yet. I'm hoping to get there in the next week or two. That what we're seeing on her screen is her new office that she's still trying to set up, and she just had her grand opening. And it's just been a huge kind of change and a breath of fresh air for Dr. Andrea. So I wish she was on here to share it herself. I have a feeling she stepped off to probably talk to a client or something. But if she comes back on, maybe you guys can give her big congrats on that. And those that are already registered for Unleash Your Inner Line, you're going to get to meet Andrea in person and really get to know her. She's a wealth of knowledge in a lot of different areas. So anybody else have a share? Anything cool before we shift gears here? All good? Oh, of course. Now you walk back in the screen. Everybody unmute and yell, congratulations, Andrea.
Congratulations,
Congratulations,
Andrea.
Andrea.
Good job, Doc. Way to
Thank you. I'm
go.
working my ass off. I spent a lot of money to move to a badass office. That's why I'm running around here.
I just shared the story to everybody because you weren't around.
Oh, thanks everybody. I love you guys. I'm going to make that video to promote Sean's Unleash Your Inner Lion event because I love this community. And one of the best things about it I wanted to talk about was being in a peer group where people actually have high standards and actually celebrate your wins and not tear you down because they're jealous because they're lazy a-holes.
Well,
I
again,
missed you
congrats.
guys. I'm gonna keep coming back now more regularly. I got all this stuff done. Thank you so much for sharing my joy.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to shift and get into some of the stuff today. I want to go over a bunch of announcements, and then I want to save some time at the end to open up and just kind of get some, give you a chance to maybe ask some questions or brainstorm. We're in a really unique spot. I don't know about some of you guys. I love the shares of the momentum, right? December's not slowing down. Some of you guys got some really cool things working, and that's great. Keep that momentum, right? Ride it into the start of the year. But at the same time, I want to end tonight with just a reminder that it's okay to ride momentum while also enjoying some personal time and some downtime, and take a second to come off the throttle a little bit to make sure that you're ready to go for the first of the year, and don't take it as a negative piece. That was probably one of the big shares, or kind of the big takeaways that I took over the last couple of weeks. Some of you guys know I left prior to Thanksgiving to go home to Ohio, and it's been a whirlwind of 3 weeks for me, between going to Ohio, trying to balance time with family, trying to work while I was there on a time zone I'm not used to working in, traveling like crazy while I was there, then getting down to Florida to see family, then to a big mastermind event. To finally get home, I'm not going to lie, I couldn't wait to get home and get that suitcase out of my vision. I wanted away from it for a little bit of time. But through that process, I realized that if Roger and I didn't attack the year the way that we do, and really kind of be so focused throughout the course of the year, it probably would have been a lot more stressful, right? Thankfully, we built this business and built this stuff in a way where he and I have kind of been, and the team, we've kind of been off the throttle since about the second week of November, and not really so stressed about so much stuff has to happen, being okay, looking at the week and kind of being like, not so much. So that was a big kind of aha for me out of the last couple of weeks. Roger, I want to give you a chance to just kind of share kind of your big takeaway from the week that we were down there in Miami, and just some things before I get into some of the updates that are coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was it was great, actually. Really kind of sharing some space with other agencies, and not necessarily in our niche, but that do what we do, right? To provide these same type of services, but in different niches, and just kind of getting to know some of those agency owners and their team members, and how do they deliver some of these services. We shared a lot with some of those agencies as well. They shared as well. Some of the presentations were great. So just overall, I think it always goes back to the same thing for all of us, right? Just kind of planning to succeed, right? That's basically the key. Just make sure that you have a game plan. Be very clear internally, right? Like me and Sean always have these conversations in regards to what our game plan is going to be. Make sure we document, make sure we're going to execute a certain way. And then we start looking at what, make sure our team is on board. Because that's the other piece that I kind of looked at in order to not only just scale, but to run a good company that's going to produce a good product, a good customer service. I mean, it's beyond just the owners, right? It's way beyond the owners, especially kind of learning on what some of these companies are doing that, we associated with or talked to and worked with at this mastermind. It's just the team becomes a very valuable piece. And I hope you guys kind of see where we sit, not just a service provider for you guys, but a team member, right? A piece of an extension of your team. And that's how we see ourselves, right? Not only Sean and I, but the rest of our team as well. And just want to I'm excited for 2022 because I learned a lot in the 2 days that we were there. Got a lot of new ideas, not only to implement some new strategies and continue to improve just the results, right, that we get, but also the customer service and how to really integrate ourselves even further within your business to help you. And so the whole goal is always to kind of level up each other, right? Level up our businesses, you guys for us, and things like that. So it was awesome. I mean, overall, it was just kind of like an eye opener. Some things that sometimes we ignore, the little things, which I know going into 22, where we got some exciting things going on. We already had some plans, and now after those 2 days that we spent over there, those plans have now enhanced and gotten even better. So super excited for 2022 and what there is to come.
Yeah, and a couple of the things that have enhanced have actually they're more internal, and I'll probably share with you guys at some point just some things that we're doing internal as a company that I have a feeling is really going to just amplify our internal side over 2022. That I think some of you guys are going to be interested in hearing. Some of you might get a little squeamish, as Roger got when I explained to him what the game plan was with some of these, and then realized it was actually a huge value add. But a lot of what I've been putting a lot of attention to, and Roger and I brainstormed on like crazy, is how do we give you guys even more in 2022 to make sure that you succeed even faster? And obviously a big role of that is the SEO side and really learning how to move the needle as fast as possible without going black hat. I mean, Roger could literally probably do some stuff that would make some results happen, but it might get us rejected and banned and kicked away and some black hat type stuff. So legally being able to move the needle, but also looking at from a support standpoint and on it. And I'm apologize, but I'm gonna have to turn and look at the board because there's, I don't know, you guys can't read it all, but this whole board's filled with stuff. And that stuff is for you guys. So I'm gonna kind of go through this pretty rapid fire. Jot some notes if you need more clarity as we get to the end. Feel free to ask some questions. But this is what's going to be coming as of the first week, the first full week in January, which I believe is January 3rd. It starts on, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check the calendar. Yeah, Monday, January 3rd. All of this stuff starts, and the first thing that I'm going to announce is we are launching the Top Results Consulting / REI Toolbox Mastermind. Now, the Mastermind, if you are part of our Accelerator or Dominator package, you are automatically in the Mastermind. And the way the Mastermind is going to work is once a month, those that are part of the Mastermind for 90 minutes. I haven't picked the day and time just yet. We'll be reaching out and kind of getting a feel for those that are in the package already, or those that are going to be part of the Mastermind. We're going to get a consensus on that. We're going to meet once a month for about 90 minutes, and it's going to be really high level conversation. And there's a very strategic kind of structure to that Mastermind that we're going to do. One of the big things that I'm looking forward to is something called Ninja Hacks. And allowing some individuals to share things that are working in their business to let others be able to kind of help scale and grow their side, some ninja things that we're learning from a digital aspect, that kind of stuff. So once a month, 90 minutes, we're going to meet via Zoom, and 3 times a year, we're going to meet in person for 2 straight days, going really deep into some very high level stuff as a mastermind. And you'll understand how the three in-person stuff is going to work here pretty soon. Okay. Now, if you're part of the foundation package, the old Content Pro Lite, the old Content Pro, any of those packages, you can get access to the mastermind. There is an additional monthly charge that will have to be added on. It's basically an add-on to your package. And if you guys are interested in that, just simply reach out to myself. And we'll schedule a call and talk about it and get you set up for that. But for those that are in the Accelerator and Dominator package, this is included. I'll be hitting up most of you guys in the next week or two to start solidifying what's our first date in January. The first live and in-person one is probably going to be sometime in March, just to give you a heads up on that one. And the way the live and in-persons are going to go, they're going to rotate. The first one's probably going to be out here in the Los Angeles area. The next one would happen over in the Washington, D.C. area where Roger's at. Then the next one would happen out here, and then back over there, right? Basically bouncing back and forth from the east to the west side to be able to accommodate easier travel, balancing it out for everybody. All right, the next one I've talked about.
Is a much nicer location for the West Coast stuff. I'm just saying.
We don't have to wear
throwing that
masks.
West Coast will be in the Los Angeles area. You're gonna have to sell it harder, Marie. All right, the other one, I've been talking about this one for a little while, and it's taken me a little bit of time. I won't lie, I've had to sell Roger on the idea, I think. And I had to kind of really map it out to make sure it made sense so that it was valuable, not just some other thing. As of January 3rd, this call as you know it no longer exists. However, what's changing is Monday through Friday, this exact same time, this exact same link, every day, there will be a call. Now, does this mean you need to be on every call, every day, every week? Absolutely not. I'm going to run down kind of the breakdown of the week so that you understand what's the department or kind of the overarching category for the day. And that way you could start to look at is Monday the day that I need to be on? Or is it Monday and Wednesdays? Or is there a couple days throughout the week that I want to jump on it for 35, 45, 55 minutes and kind of have a higher level conversation on a weekly basis? So Mondays are going to be what's called your weekly focus or your weekly kickoff. It's more for those that, hey, I need a little bit of help. I need some accountability. I want to go through an exercise every week to make sure I'm focusing on the 1 or 2 things I need to move the needle this week. Okay. Tuesdays, I'm calling it the sales and acquisitions day. We're going to talk a lot of sales strategy, but we're also going to talk a lot of acquisition strategies and really focus in on helping you in that area of your business, how to leverage the website from a sales and acquisition standpoint, how to let it become a tool in this process. Some of you guys that are on the Lead Vault program already will be kind of learning how to blend that in, and I'll talk Lead Vault here in a second. Okay, so that's going to be Tuesdays. Wednesdays is all things marketing except for SEO, for advanced SEO stuff. So all other forms of digital marketing, online marketing falls in that, right? Or also offline marketing campaigns and how to leverage the website of things in your offline marketing. Then Thursday is going to be the day where we go deep into the SEO techniques or advanced SEO tactics. Okay. So Wednesday is all things marketing except SEO. And then we set aside Thursday to be really focused just on the nerd geeky side of the, talk to the robots, Roger's kind of favorite thing to do on that day. Fridays are going to be general open coaching days. You jump on a Friday, you'll be able to ask a question across the spectrum. We'll get into topics. There won't be any specific thing. It's just kind of like close out the week, see how the week went for you, get any questions that you need help with, and then roll, into the weekend and be ready to go Monday, get rolling again, get your 1 or 2 kind of focus points identified and get rocking for the week. Okay. And that's going to happen at 5 p.m. Eastern time every day, Monday through Friday. Same link, same time, every day. Make it as stinking easy as possible for you guys. Any questions on that one before I kind of move on?
Okay, so I have a question because that is a lot and, committed to everything. So if we show up on Friday and we ask a question, we're not going to get, well, you should have been here Tuesday because we went over that on Tuesday. And if you're not here on Tuesday, then we're not going to go over it again. So those kind of things where we can't be on there every single day.
No, but what I am going to tell you is you're going to go watch the replay from on Tuesday because you didn't take it out of your time to join on the day that the topic was probably going to get talked about.
But we don't know if it's well, we know the topic. I mean, it's sales and acquisition strategies, but will we know what that topic's going to be that day?
It may not just be a topic. It may just be the discussions that happen in that category for that day. My point is, Liz, don't show up on Friday thinking you're going to just use Friday as your only day to show up and ask a bunch of questions and not take ownership of showing up Monday through Thursday on the days where the conversations are happening.
No, and
obviously, if you show up on Friday and you ask a question and you've been on the other calls and you just happen to miss one of them, you're going to get an answer. But the habitual person who shows up on Friday thinking they're going to waste everybody else's time to ask something that they heard about earlier in the week. See what I'm saying, folks?
Right.
I think she was asking what I was about ready to ask. So it sounds like you're planning on recording these and putting these somewhere that we can watch. And if
All
you
our calls are
are you going to say what the topic that was discussed in that particular one was so we can kind of like flip through and go to the replays of things?
All of our calls are recorded. All of our calls that are recorded are replayed and put onto the website into the login area, and all of them have a description as to what the conversation is about. It's already happening that way. Nothing on that front's changing. We're just breaking it apart and going all in. For you guys, it's really not a lot. For me and Roger, it's the lot. It's the commitment of showing up every single day, right? You guys just have to identify, hey, what areas do I really need to be focusing on the most and show up on those days. This way, some of you guys don't necessarily need as much help in certain areas. So you don't need to pay attention to those days right now because you're good, right? You want to show up on the days where it's going to matter most to you, your marketing, your business, and your growth. That make sense? Any other questions on the weekly kind of rhythm, or the kind of, I should call it the daily rhythm for the weeks?
You said on Wednesday it was for offline marketing. Is that correct?
Offline and online marketing, but not SEO techniques or tactics. Thursday is all SEO focused. So anything offline, online, how to blend the two, how to get them working together, how to leverage the online side, because some of you guys are doing really good with offline marketing, but you're letting your website be a hindrance or a forgotten thing. We'll talk a lot of those strategies, help you map some of that stuff out. But Thursday is going to be all about speaking to the robot type stuff, the stacks, press releases, this kind of stuff. Okay. Anybody else? Questions on that one? Okay. The other one, we're making a change to our accelerator and dominator packages. Those of you that are in those packages already, you're going to get this change into it. The big change that's happening, there's some technical stuff that's changing as far as like how things are being fulfilled or some of the techniques that we're using in those packages. That's all Roger's side of things. It really doesn't change too much on the front end for you guys. It's just how we're doing it. We're finding better, faster ways to get better results is all in those packages. But one of the big changes that we are making for you guys to take advantage of in those packages is you get 2 30-minute consulting calls every single month so that we can touch gloves multiple times throughout the month, as well as in those 2 packages, we're already getting on calls and talking about some data and that kind of stuff. Lorraine got to kind of go through her first one earlier today and see some of the way the needles moved in a 30-day window for her. But you'll also have access to a calendar where twice a month you can book a call and talk any kind of business strategy, any kind of marketing strategy that you got going on in there. Okay. And that's the Accelerator and Dominator package. Those of you that are in those packages over the next couple of weeks, I'll be sending you an email that you can save the link. That it'll be the link that you'll use to book those calls anytime you want to book one of those throughout the course of the month. Okay. All right, this one's for everybody. Starting in 2022, the first one's probably going to happen sometime in March. We are going to be doing what we call member intensives. 3 times a year, Roger and I are going to host. How many of you guys went to the Baltimore workshop or on the Zoom call for the Baltimore workshop that we did? Take that, put it out to 2 full days, multiply it by 3 times a year. So 3 times a year, we're going to be doing member intensives where it's going to be more workshop style intensives. Each one's going to have totally different, topics and content and actions and all that kind of stuff. It's not a rinse and repeat model that we're going to be doing, but it's 3 times a year that you'll be able to attend these. We will probably, like we did for Baltimore, do it via Zoom as well as live and in person. Obviously, the live and in person is always going to be better than any Zoom call. I don't know how anybody can sit for 2 straight days on a Zoom call to begin with. It's hard enough to sometimes sit in a room for 2 straight days in person, but that Zoom option will be available. And that's going to coincide with the mastermind. So the intensive would happen on 2 days, and then immediately after that would be the mastermind in the live and in person. So those 3 times a year for the member intensives match up with the 3 times a year for the mastermind piece of things, so that you can kind of work through, do stuff, be in that intensive. And then those that are part of the mastermind, we'd have 2 days to go even deeper, higher level into some of the stuff that you learned and even start implementing some of those things at the mastermind. Okay. The other thing with the member intensives is if you got team members, you got employees, you've got whatever, it's not just you in the business, you got some other people doing it. Your team's allowed to come to that intensive with you. Okay. So you can bring some of your people with you as you guys start to build your business, or you want to add new members on, feel free to bring them along with you on those. And that first one is probably going to launch sometime in March. I'm hoping by the middle of January to kind of have a date and the location locked in. And we'll start getting the details out around that as soon as we know those, so you can start planning and budgeting and figuring out for that one. Any questions on the member intensives? We all good with that one? Okay, The final one that I'm going to bring up is going to lead me into another small conversation here. We're not going to get too in detail with it because I'm going to do a full-blown presentation for you guys, probably the first part of January, and I'll probably just send it out to everybody. I'll record it and send it out to everybody so you can watch it. Those of you that are in our Dominator package, you are going to be getting full access to Lead Vault, and we're going to be strategically working Lead Vault, meaning me and the team behind the scenes. We're going to be working some of the Lead Vault stuff into your Dominator package starting in January. Anything underneath Dominator, it's still how it's been up to this point for those of you that are in the beta program. But if you're at our Dominator level, we are going to start to build some of that stuff into that package. If you guys can't tell, the Dominator package is like Roger and I's big baby. It's the one thing that we know that if you're in our Dominator package, we can really control the success that you're at. And we need you at that level to be able to put that kind of a stamp of approval to all of it. Outside of that, there's still some stuff in your hands for it. But those of you, there's a couple of you guys on this call right now that are in our Dominator package. Some of it you may not even experience firsthand or see. We're just going to be building some stuff out and building kind of some automations and doing some certain things into it to help you out behind the scenes so that you don't have to even worry about it out there. That's all the major updates. I'm sure there'll be some small stuff that changes here and there. But Roger, anything you want to add before we kind of just open it up to see if anybody's got questions? I saw some comments popping in too.
No, just I think you pretty much nailed kind of what we had talked about earlier. Just kind of make sure we had all the updates. I was kind of looking at my notes, make sure we didn't leave anything out. The only thing is, I mean, from our trip mastermind with the agencies, I mean, it gave us a lot of ideas to just kind of hit both Accelerate and Dominator with more stuff, right? Without having to adjust too much. So yeah, we're just so you guys know, it's like the Accelerate and Dominator are going to be kind of getting some things. You guys might not directly see them, but we're going to be implementing a couple more strategies in there as well. So I guess this is what it's all about, just improving what we're producing and improving our product and not stopping, not staying complacent, always trying to kind of do the best that we can to keep the needle moving forward for you guys.
The other thing that I'll throw out, we don't have all the details on it just yet, but I want to plug it so that you guys can start fermenting on or kind of fermenting around this idea. Eric, you kind of made me think of it when you shared your kind of case study with that property that you just did. There was another idea that kind of popped out of the last couple of weeks with Roger and I. Roger, I'm talking about Flipper Fixer Upper.
Gotcha. Yep. Actually, yeah, that's a great one to bring up if there's any takers.
There's an idea brewing in my head to build an entire show to help promote you guys. Obviously, there's a huge digital aspect that you would benefit from if we build this the way that it's in my head. But the name Flipper Fixer Upper, we already own it. We have it.
Flipping Fixer Uppers.
Flipping Fixer Upper. I keep screwing that one up. Flipping Fixer Upper, right? Yes. Right. We already own it. And there's this, there's a whole content idea out there around helping, especially obviously real estate folks, showcase some stuff. Now, for us to do this and do this the right way, I can't do it on our end alone, right? We need individuals with projects, with things going on, with different aspects happening. So again, I don't have all the details, but I want you to stew on it because this is going to be a Q1 focus for me, is to kind of figure this out, get all the game plan in place. But if you've got some projects as you're looking at the first 3 months of 2022, and they've got a really cool story, or you're doing something really crazy with them, or just you were really able to help somebody out through something that was very unique, we'd like to hear about it. Because the first couple of episodes, we're probably just going to donate a lot of stuff to get this thing up and running, to see how it goes, and go from there. Okay. Just know it's a pretty monster project. that I'm considering doing if we can make it work. If you have something, if you're thinking of something, if you're looking ahead in your pipeline, you're like, we probably would have something for you during that time frame, just reach out to me and let me know so that we could kind of chat offline, figure some details out and see if it would actually work out for us. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead. Did you have something, Roger? I saw you.
I do. You guys might kind of be thrown back a little bit. Why the heck are these guys doing this show, or what's going on? It seems like, there's so much things, but one of the ideas and why this idea came up, obviously this brewed up while we're on the mastermind. These guys are awesome, by the way. These agency owners just had so many things going on. Obviously they're across different niches and things like that. So it's really, really cool. But this particular idea, and one thing that we can all agree as agency owners, as SEOs, as marketers, is one of the most important things that we can do for our clients is amplify your brand, right? Old-fashioned brand building. That's what it is, right? Trying to get your name out there as much as possible. So this particular idea, along with your website, your SEO, everything that your social media, your Google business profile, all those things are great, and they're going to work if done correctly. But we're looking for even more. We want to make sure that our community, basically you guys, have the absolute best platform available to you guys to amplify your brand. So when someone actually considers using you as to sell their homes, as a service provider, there is no question. If they go out there and look for you, they're not just going to find your website. They're going to find a lot of different really cool assets out there, whether it's video, whether it's post on your Google business profile, whether this show, right? This concept that we're looking at, huge opportunity, because that would be something an asset that we own and build, doesn't affect you. We're just putting it out there for you, putting your brand, and we're able to utilize that for many of our clients, right? And just kind of as episodes. And again, it goes back to SEO. We can develop an entire link building campaign to push the power of your website up in the rankings as well with something like that. So that's why kind of that plan came to. Obviously, it's really cool concept, but overall, it's basically going back to brand building for you guys.
So with that, I know that was a mouthful of stuff, a ton of detail, a ton of things being thrown out to everybody. So I want to just make sure, does anybody have any questions, thoughts, clarity that you need on anything? And I see I appreciate you guys. I see a lot of the comments coming in saying that you love it and that kind of stuff. But any comments, thoughts, clarity, anything that you need?
What time of day will these calls happen during the week?
Liz, what time of day and what days of the week are the calls? Use East Coast time.
Oh, shit. Okay, they're every day, Monday through Friday, and 5 o'clock.
5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
For you Mountain Time Arizona folks who bounce between Mountain and Pacific, figure out the math time of year.
3 and 2.
5 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday, Terry.
Sean, question. Can you go over this? Are you going to list out the schedule for us, or should we start writing right now?
I'll read it back off to you right now. I probably will be sending out, I'll probably have the team create some sort of a graphic or something for me to fire off. I have another idea. It's on the other side of this board. I want a calendar of events on our REI Toolbox and Top Results website, so that you guys can very easily just go there and see what's happening this month, right? This way, as we start doing live events, the intensives, the mastermind, that kind of stuff. Okay. But high level again, really fast. Monday is your weekly kickoff, weekly focus call. Tuesdays, sales and acquisition. Wednesday, all marketing except for SEO. Thursday is SEO. And Friday is kind of close out the week, celebrate, and just open coaching. Okay. And be on the lookout, Sal, and everybody else. I'll be talking to the team tomorrow about getting something created on that. Anybody else? Questions, thoughts, clarity?
I have a question that's unrelated to anything you talked about.
Way to shift the whole focus.
It could be included in something, and I just was wondering if I could ask at the very end, or I could shoot you an email, man.
I'll come back to you. I'll give you
Okay.
time. Anybody else on what we just discussed? Go ahead, Andrea. You guys don't have to raise your hand, just unmute.
So I love how you got this big hairy goal. You really are going after it. I love this example of expanding your vision of what's possible. You're really killing it. I think this is a great example for all of us to raise our game as far as looking at what we can do this next year. I had seen in the chat, people were saying, like you had said, take some time for ourselves, some me time to get introspective. One of my favorite things that you share all the time by example in the teachings that you give us is to do some evaluation, right? Quarterly, yearly, and get clear about what's working, what's not, and then what we're going to do this year. And I just had to shout out to you guys because this is like seriously, really nicely ambitious and really wonderful for what you'll become from growing into these great visions. I think it's a great example for all this. I'm going to really be serious about my planning and goals for this year. I got to really raise my game. I'm really excited. I really want to thank you guys. My favorite thing I wanted to shout out too is you walk your talk and you're doing it in your own business. I'm so sick of coaches that don't have a business, don't have business experience, and just come up with these ideas without walking it out. So you always are the example yourselves. And then I love seeing what you all are doing because you're actually really doing it in real life too. It isn't just talk about it. I'm really repulsed by just the talk about it. That's why I'm hanging with you guys.
I really appreciate that. Thank you on that one. Anybody else, anything?
I would just say it's obviously a tremendous amount of work. I can't even imagine the commitment to do every day. Yeah, like as Andrea was just saying, you guys are you're doing what you're coaching us to do, and that definitely is compelling, to say the least. And so, and it's a model, it's a demonstration of how to successfully run a business, because if you guys weren't running your business as successfully as you were, you wouldn't be able to protect your time in a way that would enable you to do all of this stuff, which is, so it's a constant reminder of even just how to allocate your time when you're running a business to put yourself in a position to be able to grow your business by focusing on things like this. It's cool, man.
I appreciate that. And it makes me, I literally just told this to Roger earlier today. We talked briefly about it earlier last week. I'm on a mission. Top Results Consulting and REI Toolbox is not just an SEO company. Roger and I really are looking at TRC, REI Toolbox as like, when we look at, obviously we're very niched into the real estate world. I know we've got some others that are non-real estate, like Dr. Andrea, who is very intelligent enough to take the concept and translate it to her own business on there. But Roger and I are literally on a mission to make this the absolute best marketing and business building program and service for real estate. And we got pushed really, really hard in this mastermind that we belong to. We joined this thing back in August, and we've been getting pushed and pushed and pushed to get super, super specific on what's the vision, where are we going with this thing? And as Roger and I have talked about it and fleshed this thing out, it's like, you know what? I want to create the thing that just puts every other real estate program or service or provider or help to shame, because we've got a unique element there. Roger is a plethora of knowledge when it comes to speaking to the robot, but there's this whole other side. I don't know how many of you guys on this call have built and scaled multiple 7-figure businesses and sold them outside of myself. And that's not a brag. It's just, there's a lot of experience in almost 13 years now in business that I've gone through, that I look back at my early days in real estate, where a lot of you guys are at right now, And I wish somebody helped me circumvent the trouble and get past it faster, right? And that's been a big thing for Roger and I as we were at that mastermind in person. I hang out with a lot of these guys anyway on Zoom calls every day, but to hear them talk in person and hear some of their struggles, and then I look back at Roger and I, they might be a bigger business, right? They might be servicing more clients. They've got, more revenue coming in, whatever the case. But I hear many of them struggling as a business to even have freedom in their business. I love what Dr. Andrea just said. And Keith, the way you just kind of put it, like to protect your time. Well, the only reason Roger and I are capable of doing this and why we can go this bold and crazy kicking into 2022 is we've learned how to leverage teams. We've learned how to build a team. We've learned how to manage a team. We've learned how to manage the business in a way to scale to have the team at the right times, at the right places, and make that investment. And we're about to make a huge, silly, crazy investment into our team in 2022 by giving them more time off, knowing that they're going to get more done for us. And that's like complete opposite thinking of what most people, right? How many of you guys would ever go and work for a company that gave you 7, almost 8 weeks of paid time off in a year? Right? That anybody wants that, right? But how many of you as business owners would give your employees 7, 8 weeks of paid vacation? Some of you are probably cringing right now, like, whoa, what? This is some of the crazy stuff. And as Roger and I look back and we looked at 2020, 2021, we've been making some good progress. The business is moving. We've getting some of you guys to have some good results. But it was like, how are we going to push it even farther and really make you guys, I want those of you guys that are, I meant it when I put this post up last week. If you're not one of the clients that works with Top Results and REI Toolbox, I feel sorry for those real estate folks because you guys are going to put them to shame. Like, it's that simple for us. That is the vision that I wake up with every day, that I push Roger and Roger pushes me and we push the team to do, is I want people to be like, who the heck is that real estate person in this market? And them to go, oh, that's somebody working with REI Toolbox and Top Results. And I feel bad for those that don't listen to you, that don't listen to me, that don't want to take their business to the next level because they won't be in business in 2 or 3 years. You guys will own it. I can promise you that. If you stay tuned in and just grind it with us, because it's the ball is moving, and a lot of you guys are like this close to just breaking the barrier and making some real big things happen through it. So I appreciate all the confirmation, I guess I'll call it, unless you got a better word, Roger, but I'm taking this as like confirmation that we're going the right direction here. We're bringing the right stuff to the table here.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked, man. I appreciate same thing. I want to echo. We're approaching the end of the year. It's been an exciting year. But yeah, I definitely want to echo what you said. And I see kind of like JP in here. I see some of the people I've been kind of next to us that have kind of supported us as well. Mickey's on here. I get to talk to Mickey quite a bit. So it's been really cool, and we're not stopping. Right? It's that mastermind just kind of and kind of kudos to you guys that continue to go to your own masterminds, right? And your niches and what you're doing to kind of like make yourself better. It's like what we're doing in this particular piece of your business and what we're doing, we're bringing it. I mean, especially in 2022 and beyond, we're not stopping. We're going to continue to kind of push and make sure that you have the best platform out there for you guys to succeed. So looking forward to it. And also for Beth, I know you were having some issues with your connection, Beth. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be recorded. We're going to upload it within 48 hours. And then I can send you an email on how to access all that if you don't have the password. So you'll be able to rewatch this if needed.
On that note, I'm gonna kind of shift the gears for a second. We got about 2 weeks left of this year, 2.5 weeks, right? Really, it's like this week and next week, and then it's a whirlwind from Christmas to New Year. That week goes crazy, and most people don't really focus too much on business. I want to encourage you guys to wind down a little bit, but not wind down as in get off the pedal and completely ignore everything. If anything, I want you to focus these next couple of weeks on getting stupid clear. Not crystal clear, stupid clear on what January plan looks like. how are you going to come out of the gate in January ready to roll? I did a whole session on this last year, and I don't think any of our team is on right now. Roger, maybe make a note. I wonder if Max can go back and find that couple calls we did last December. I did this whole series on, it was like 2 weeks, I think, on getting planned out and ready to roll so that January 1st, you're already executing the plan. Whereas most business owners wait until January 1st, and then they sit down and go, all right, it's the first of the year. Let's get serious now. I want to make this the best year ever. And it takes them a week, 2 weeks to get a plan in place. And before you know it, January's over and the momentum dies. If we take the time now, leading in, take some time off, relax a little bit, de-stress, put some focus into what are we going to do come January to get into this and really take off out of the gate instantly, then by the time January 1st hits, you're out in front of your competition. It's kind of like the head start. Because you're already going to start taking the action that you've put down, that you've mapped out, that you planned. And your competition in your marketplace is going to be sitting there going, well, wonder what we could try this year that might work better than what we did last year. And if you can do that over the next couple of weeks and really have this kind of clear vision on what does, and notice I keep saying January, just get January. You will start to create momentum in January that will give you the guidance to get through the rest of the quarter. As January is coming to an end, you'll be able to plan out February, March, have a good idea of what's going to finish me out this quarter. And then you start to kind of build this momentum so that by the end of the quarter, you're starting to look at a full next quarter. For the most part, most businesses, they suffer in the first couple of weeks of January, right? The New Year's resolution kicks in. I'm going to go get in shape. I'm going to go to the gym. What happens about a week or two into the month? The gyms are packed. Everybody's in there. You can't get on any machines. Wait until the 15th, 16th of the month, and everything's freaking open. Right? It's kind of like Roger and my challenges. I challenge him for 20 days. He'll go 20 days. 21 days, he's eating cake. Get a plan now. Get the momentum going so that by day 15, 16, you're just that guy or gal showing up like you've done for the last 15, 16 days. And you just don't have to fight as hard anymore because they're all out of your way now. That kind of makes sense? Thoughts, comments, questions on that? Probably next Monday. I wanted to do it tonight, but I didn't have time to put everything together for you guys. Next Monday is our last like normal call like this for the year. Monday the 27th, the week between Christmas and New Year's, we are not doing a call. Okay. And we'll refire back up with the new schedule in January. But I'm going to run us through an exercise next week live on this call. So this week, if you can put some thought into it, start getting some things in the brain, you're going to show up to that call next week and be able to kind of put some action behind this and really come clear on a few things. Anything on that?
You're saying be clear and write some goals down? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just this week, start putting some thought to it. Even if you don't write it down, just take a few minutes a day and just kind of think or look at some stuff. Look at one thing that always works for me is I look at our business in departments. I have a few minutes. I might sit back for a second, look at one department, talk about in my own head, some things that are going well, some things that aren't. What are some ideas that I have? And I do this to Roger all the time. I'll hit him up and I'll be like, hey, I need like 30, 45 minutes to just brainstorm a couple ideas around a certain department. Or sometimes it's even just a team member. Like this one team member, I think we need to move them and do something different with them or get them involved in something else because they'll get better results for us here. So if you could just do that this week, spend some time looking, dissecting your business, get some thought, let the wheel get going, right? Don't force anything. Just let something start to come to you. That when we go through this exercise next week, you'll be a little bit better fit for it or kind of prepped for it, okay? Anything else on that? The other thing that I want to kind of throw out there, the Unleash Your Inner Lion event is coming up at the end of January. I'm only saying this tonight because we are down to about 6, maybe 7 spots left. I have not opened this up fully to everybody just yet. This event has been solely focused on giving a lot of our clients first crack at this. If you're the type that you just need that kick in the pants to get things going with you, I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but I wanted to just have Andrea, if you could maybe share something, Terry, if you could share something. I know JP, you were at the last one. Andrea has been at just about every single one of them, not just as a speaker, but attending, like literally putting herself through it. I know Mickey, you were at it, but if a couple of you guys could just share a couple of things that for some of those, because I know a couple of you guys are, you've reached out, you've asked me questions. I want to make sure you have the opportunity before I let other people jump in it, so that you guys get the benefit, not other people on it. So Andrea, I'll kind of kick it to you for a second. I'm putting all of them on the spot, by the way. None of them knew that I was even asking this tonight.
Yeah, I didn't know I would be put on the spot right now, but I'll keep it really real with you guys. I've been since the first Interlion back September 2019. And I keep coming back, and I'll contribute in any way that I can, because I have learned through my own personal experience how important it is. Our whole entire life is dictated by the peer group that we choose. If we're with people that have low standards, then we will have low standards too. We'll throw in the towel. So Unleash Your Inner Lion gets us out of our comfort zone, so that we'll raise our standards and rise to the occasion. So we'll take all the shoulds. Oh, I should do this. I should do this for my business. I should rearrange my life this way. But I don't, for 6 months, a year, like, why am I not doing it? Because when we do the group exercises and we go on the adventure, and also too, it's the quality of the people in the peer group that really makes a difference, because everybody's all in. Everybody's really all in. I have an orthopedic history of injuries, and I really pushed myself. I rappelled down waterfalls. I climbed up rope ladders. I canoed for 12 miles. I broke through all kinds of limiting thoughts, ideas, and fears that I've held for over 27 years since my car accident, because that's holding me back in my real life, in the decisions I make, the risks I can take for my business. And again, like the balls that I have to create this kind of expansive vision that you just heard Sean share. You can't go that far into uncertainty and have confidence that you'll figure it out if we don't break through all those deep, I should, I can, it's hard, or, settling, for the people that were around. I think it's really important to be in this kind of group where people really are willing to go for it, and also have the support to figure it out. And we learn from each other and support each other, and it's totally real and authentic. And that's not, so easy to find, maybe. I'm really glad that I'm here and I get to, contribute and experience that. And it's changed my life. I feel so much more confident and free now. It's changed the last 2 years, I've reinvented my whole entire life and business because of that. So I say, hey, you got more to gain than to lose. I don't care how much it costs anymore. It's like, I'm in, tell me where, I don't care where we're going. Just tell me when to show up.
And that literally is how she is.
That's how I
On this date.
now.
Cool. Terry, Mickey, Roger, JP, any of you guys want to share something you've taken from it?
I've been trying to send you my video the whole time not the whole time, but while we've been on here. I did it.
Terry, my technology challenged individual.
I told you, knuckle dragon door kicking guy here. That's all I got for you. No, yeah, this last year was pretty amazing. I came from the fire service after 36 years, where we had a HR department, a finance department, and if I needed help, there were people to go to. Last 5 years has been me with the real estate business. So it's really helped, with my wife also involved in it. It's helped develop, or with Unleash Your Inner Lion, it's helped develop better communication with us. It's also helped develop better communication with my kids. And that's been the best on the personal level. So that's been the best part.
I know that's been a huge break for Terry and his daughter Ryan, and then even some of the stuff with your son.
Yeah.
Let's see, Jordan, Mickey, Roger, JP, anybody. I know Jordan was like the second I don't even think I finished releasing the enter button and he already registered again.
Yeah, last year was my first go around, but yeah, just the connecting with everybody out there and being in the woods. And well, we weren't in the woods, but we, you know what I mean. We were in nature. There's no cell phone service out there. You get to unplug for a little while. That is the biggest, because we've had a crazy fucking year this year, man. There's all kinds of stressors and shit going on. So just to be able to get away for a little while and be around a bunch of cool people that are going through the same stuff as we are, business struggles and whatnot. And we got to get out there and talk through a lot of those problems and make decisions together. So it was a good trip. I'll be like Dr. Andrew. I'll be at every one of them. I love doing stuff like that. So you already know I'm there.
Vicky, JP, Roger, anybody? If not, don't feel
I can go. So I absolutely loved last year. It was so fun to have the connection because you get to network over Zoom like now, but meeting people for real was just so fun. Like I didn't know Sean was big. It's not big in a bad way, Sean. He trimmed down since, but it was super fun seeing him and meeting him for real. No, joke aside, but it was really fun to make those friendships and to continue them offline, and just to have that mastermind, like Dr. Andrea was saying, like, especially when you're a business owner, as you're progressing in your journey, most of the time, if you don't come from an entrepreneur background, it's a lonely journey. And so just having those connections, being able to have those people around, like, I know that I can call JP, I can call Roger, Dr. Angela, we exchanged several times. It's just been so fantastic to have those friendships go beyond the event itself. So that's really something that I really like. And on my side, I was very fortunate to have most of our teams to be there. And so this really consolidated our friendship and our vision also for Akin. And, just to have that new, fresher energy to go on was really, really great.
I love it.
Go ahead, Roger. Do you want to go?
Oh man, yeah, I can go. I saw yours kind of go off too. So yeah, even though I'm Sean's partner, we're approaching our second year here in January, and but I had never attended Unleash Your Inner Lion. So last year was my first one as well. So I got thrown into a role, that was a little more advanced, I guess, Sean, standard to, first timers. So I had to kind of step it up as well. But it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. I think the camaraderie, just the relationships, and not only I like what Jordan was saying, where it's almost like we're out in nature, unplugged. We get to talk about some of these struggles, but not only that, it's like sometimes we kind of always, kumbaya and talk about our problems, but we don't challenge ourselves in this case, we challenge ourselves in a physical level to a certain extent, to where we start looking at those problems as no longer problems, right? More of, hey, wait a minute, my confidence just went up. What I thought was a problem, I turned into maybe a lesson, right? And start looking at things a little differently. And for me, it wasn't even just about business, but it was actually at a personal level as well, looking at my life, which if I made the tweaks and looked at those areas, which I did, added some more things. And in most cases, it was kind of like an aha moment for me, where I went into this thinking, all right, I'm going to be able to kind of, I thought I had an idea of what it was all about, but I went in thinking, these are my problems. These guys are going to help me work through it. But the finger turned back at me, right? When I talked it out and went through all these things, like maybe I have to fix a couple things with me, right? So everybody gets something different out of it. I believe that was the cool thing about it as well. But it's not just one, session of consultation talking about the problems, but also kind of like challenging yourself and actually making you think at a different level too, that way, when you look at those problems or benefits, right? You can look at life a little differently, both in business and personal. But yeah, no, absolutely game changer. I think within our business too, had me look at business a whole different way. So when we came back, just attacked it like a lion, man, and looked at our team like our pride and what we can do to make that pride stronger. And this is what we're looking at right now. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll know if you do go to that event. Is kind of looking at it. That's why when I look at this, I'm like, we won't stop, and we will continue to say that we won't stop to make this platform the absolute best, because you guys are our pride. We care about this family, right? This community, and that's basically what I kind of brought home from Unleash the Inner Lion, and that's what I've applied to my business. And this is my business, so you guys get to benefit from that excitement, right, that I bring to the table from Unleash the Inner Lion. So it was a great event. Absolutely great job to Sean. Even though you're my partner, Sean, in this business, Unleash the Inner Lion is a whole different level, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. But definitely great job on that.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. Two things. So one, it actually to be able to go offline for 3 days with a brand new business that we had kicked off like 6 months prior with our skip tracing company. It actually forced me to grow my company and try to find somebody to basically take my spot for those 3 days for customer support, fulfillment, all that stuff. It was kind of just a one-man band at that point. So that was kind of the catalyst for me to be able to get myself out of my business. So that was one of the huge benefits that I got from it that I didn't see at the time, but I look back on it and I'm like, oh man, that was the event, you know, committing to that event was as what made that happen. And the other thing was, you know, I think that it's really cool to be a part of all the things that you guys just shared, right? And be able to experience these, watch everybody that you're there with push themselves into uncomfortable positions and then watch them grow. It was like just such a special feeling to know like, hey, I was there whenever Vidal jumped off that 50-foot ledge and he was scared of heights. And he's like, you know, like, this is for, you know, like, how could I tell my son to do something if I'm not even able to conquer my own fears? And so like to be a part of that moment, you know, that's such a special thing. And there were so many of those moments throughout the entire event. And on top of that, Sean, for you to orchestrate what you did, man, like I saw you in such a different light after that event. I had so much more respect for you than I already did, man. I know that's not easy. And you did a hell of a job facilitating and making us all feel safe. And then, you know, just making sure that it was just an eventful weekend. So it's
except for that part where you almost drowned to death. Remember that? That was safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to save
I was pushing
you.
myself.
It was Roger and I who saved you.
Yeah, no, that was a hell of an event.
We had you.
Vidal was freaking out. Vidal was freaking out.
We had a firefighter on the canoe, man. I wasn't worried. Right. Terry was there, man. All under control.
Dude, I was going hard.
That one story is like wrapping up what everybody just shared, this whole concept of figure it out, the pride, right? Stress mixed with we don't know what to do, mixed with don't worry, I got this. And just kind of coming through. If I had to wrap it up in one story, I would just tell that story. If I had to ever explain what it is. But if you guys are interested in it, you want more detail, whatever, absolutely reach out and talk to me. Or you can just go to SeanTiberio.com and click on the event tab, and it'll take you right to the page where all the details are there. You can register right there. I'm probably going to, by the end of this week, start reaching out to some other folks outside of our family here that have expressed interest in it, if there's spots available. And we're pretty much like, once it sells out kind of thing. There's not really any way that I can add more space unless Marie figures out how to buy the house next door and we can spill over into the next house because we're using her property up in Sholo for it this time. That's the other thing. No event has ever been the same as the other event. So a lot of the stories that you're hearing right here, don't think those are the things you're going to have to go through. It's a whole new event that I create, new experience. That's why the Andreas and the, so-and-sos of everybody that keeps coming back over and over again, because every event's different. Every event has a different kind of feel to it. The people are different. What you take from it is different. But I'm just going to kind of end it with this, and then I'll hang on for a few minutes if anybody's got questions about stuff. I personally believe that next year could be an awesome year for all of you guys. If you get clarity and get focused and get rolling, right? And just take the action. Speed of implementation. The faster you can take action around something and just do it without any question, without any worry of how or what or whatever the case. We're doing something stupid crazy next year. Roger and I are disappearing for 30 days. Actually, Terry's involved in that thing as well. We're literally unplugging from the business for 30 straight days in 2022. When I threw the idea to them, I didn't have all the details. Heck, I don't even think we still have all the details on how we're going to pull it off, but we're going to do it. The faster you can just take the action, the faster you can get clarity on where you're trying to go. I promise you guys, you will succeed next year. So with that, I'm going to hang on. I know we're way over time. I appreciate you guys hanging out and being part of tonight's call. But if anybody's got any questions or anything specific, I know Keith, you had something that you wanted to ask, we can jump into that. But I will hang on for a few minutes here. If you got to go, feel free to jump off.